Riley Greene is finally a Detroit Tiger, and the rest of the offense comes with him. Everybody just remembers how to hit. It was a pretty fun weekend, the latter half at least. We're going to talk about it Father's Day, everything around the weekend today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I am, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Monday, June 20th, 2022. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Okay. Very eventful weekend. Very eventful weekend. We got to get right into it. Did I say my name? I'm your host, Scott Bentley. I don't know if I said that, but we're here. My brain's going a million miles an hour. Riley Greene is finally a Detroit Tiger. We made it. We made it. And I know that sounds kind of weird because this team is still struggling mightily, and we are still so far from where we want to be as a team, as an organization, as a front office, as a lineup, you name it. But there's something very symbolic about Riley Greene just finally making the majors, right? Like Torkelson's was very cool, and that was the number one overall pick, and Mize and Skubal and Paredes, I guess, when they all came up at the same time, there was something awesome about that. But Riley Greene, I'm just not quite sure, and this is not meant to be an insult or anything whatsoever, but I'm not sure that non-Tigers fans or just like the general public, I guess this wouldn't be an insult to you. You're probably a Tiger fan if you're listening to this, really understands how just of a bona fide prospect Riley Greene is. I'm not like he is. I love Spencer Torkelson. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be a staple in the middle of this lineup for a very long time. Tarek Skubal has obviously turned into an absolute stud. We'll get to him this weekend. Another rough performance, but whatever. Riley Greene is different. Like talk to scouts, talk to people that know what they're talking about. If you don't think I know what I'm talking about, that's fine. Everybody's got their opinion. Everybody's got the right to their own opinion, right? Riley Greene is different. This is arguably the best prospect in the game of baseball, and he's debuting for your baseball team. So to all the people that were like, "Oh, this doesn't matter," or "Oh, this season still sucks. I don't care. I'm gonna be upset." It's different. It's different. Like I said, arguably the best prospect the game of baseball has to offer is now playing at the major league level for your baseball team. When was the last time the Detroit Tigers were allowed is kind of a weird word to use there. When was the last time the Detroit Tigers were able to say that? Certainly not in my lifetime. I'm a 90s kid. Certainly not in my lifetime. Well before that is also still not quite the answer. It's just he's different. He's at a whole different level than all of these other guys, and it's not, that's no disrespect to them. Torkelson was in most things like peaked at around number 6 prospect in all the baseball, right, just outside the top 5. Mize, Manning, Skubal were all in the top like 25 at one point. It's no disrespect to them, but Riley Greene is him. He's Himothy, right? Like he is just him. It's just a little different. So nothing was going to prevent me from being excited about this. I wasn't going to let the mood of this team take away from my excitement. It never was going to. I wasn't going to let other people telling me I shouldn't be excited for whatever reason. That's a weird thing to do in my eyes, but I don't believe in telling other people how to be a fan. So if you want to be just, you know what, oh, I don't care. This season's still lost, whatever. Then that is absolutely, you're right. You go ahead and continue to be upset and whatever. And we're all upset. And that's totally justified. And I'm not saying that Riley Greene making the majors all of a sudden means that the season like the World Series is back on or anything. Like, no one's saying that. But there's something to be said for a guy who any scout who has an ounce of respect in the circle that is Major League Baseball, all of these guys point to Riley Greene as a future star in this league. And this dude has a legit chance to be your best player for the next decade. So I don't care how lost of a season this season is. He's going to be in Detroit for at least the next 6 years, hopefully the next 16 years. And he has the potential to be your best player during that entire era. So I'm sorry, but it does still mean something. And it is still significant, regardless of how lost or not this current season that we are playing in is. It's still meaningful and it's still awesome. And the cool thing is the rest of the offense decided they wanted to come to play the second he got to the majors. So that's kind of cool. Right? That's wild. I don't know where that came from. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the whole weekend and everything, but there's no way I couldn't start the show with just Riley Greene is here. It's awesome. He looks pretty solid in center. Didn't get tested too terribly much throughout the weekend, but made every play that he could make out there in center field. And he looked really good at the plate, man. He looked really good at the plate. I can't wait to talk about it. Let's start. I guess we can start chronologically, not even because I want to go in order of like, hey, we want to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I just want to break this down in like you know how we have BC and AD? Maybe we start viewing this as like before Riley Greene, after Riley Greene. And I'm not comparing him to to Jesus, all right? Everybody calm down. But like, as far as the timetable of this season, it's really starting to look like there is, I mean, at least 2 games in, right? Something to be said for, oh, hey, after Riley Greene got called up, look at the offense. Before Riley Greene got called up, look at the offense. I'm just saying. So let's talk about it. On Friday, it was announced that Riley Greene would get called up and he would make his debut, but his debut would be on Saturday. And it was at the expense of Austin Meadows yet again. Now he has COVID. The dude's immune system just keeps getting tested. It's really sad. I feel really bad for the dude. Hopefully he can come back from this, though, and everything's fine. And hopefully, the vertigo's just completely gone and we don't have to worry about it anymore. But that's just sucks. Friday's game, we dropped 7-0. Not fun, right? Not too terribly fun. And this highlighted that in a 2-week stretch, 8 times in 14 days. There were 2 off days in there. So 8 of the last 12 games after Friday night's 7-0 loss that we had scored 1 or fewer runs in a baseball game. Absolutely putrid. And it was more of the same thing. We had 1 double. That was the only extra base hit. And we only had 5 base runners on the night. And they were all, 4 of the 5 were singles, and then the 1 Willie Castro double. Not good at bats. Weak contact, really. It was really ugly. And I don't even want to talk about it too terribly much. The only thing to really talk about with this game, besides just re-highlighting for the millionth time that this offense was terrible, was Tarek Skubal did not look good, and that's the second start in a row. I'm not worried. I don't think you should be worried either. But 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. His ERA is still sub-3, still having a phenomenal year. But the big thing in this one was just the command wasn't there. It really wasn't. And he was missing outside of the zone when he wanted to be in the zone. He was missing in the zone when he wanted to be outside of the zone. The fastball command was really brutal. And that's been the bread and butter this year. It's been a swing and miss pitch. It's been a setup pitch. It's been what's made him so successful is his fastball command, and he did not have it on Friday, to say the least. And I think that's the cause for a lot of pretty much all of the struggles in this one. He when he wanted to paint a fastball or have it, maybe just a hair outside, and it would end up right down the middle. And when he wanted one, that caught the heart of the plate, maybe up and in, it was, missing. He was missing the glove by a lot. It was really, he was struggling mightily with the command. It was there on the breaking balls too. But the fastball is just so vital to him as a pitcher that it really did just kind of all roll downhill after you realize that he didn't have the fastball command. So, not a great outing, but not worried at all. He'll be fine. This is only his second full season, right? And his first full season that he's been just so dang good. So I think as he goes along, just used to pitching a full season. Remember last time he had innings restrictions as well. So just being like, hey, you're going to go out there and pitch every fifth day no matter what. That's new to the dude for a full 162. So there might be a little bit of dog days here in late June, early July, where maybe he loses some command for a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, he'll be fine, and we're still going to get a very, very good season out of Tarek. Let's go into the weekend. Let's go into the post Riley Greene call up era, and talk about how fun Saturday and Sunday were for the Tigers. But first, I got to tell y'all about Athletic Greens. This is a product that I use every single day, and it's really, I mean, I've told you guys the stories about it now a lot, and I'm going to tell you again. They sent it to all the hosts just as a hey, try it out, see how you like it, etc., and so that what you're selling of your listeners. And it has been incredible, and I buy it every month now. I re-up as often as I can, and it's really been life-changing. Honestly, I stand by it. I love it, and I take it literally every single day before breakfast. Wake up in the morning, it's just powder you mix with 8 to 12 ounces of water, and there you go. It has 75 different vitamins, minerals, everything your body needs in a 24-hour period. It has in one scoop of green powder. It's lifestyle friendly, keto, paleo, vegan, dairy free, gluten free, etc. It's awesome. Contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, no artificial anything. It's all legit. It's all lifestyle friendly, and it is incredible for you. Gut health, digestive health. Like every anti-aging doctor on the planet highly recommends it. It's really is unbelievable, and I take it every single day, and I think you should too. So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB Network. That's athleticgreens.com/MLB Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, everybody. We are back here for segment 2 at Locked On Tigers. Thanks for making us your first listen every single day. Wow. I'm just, I'm so happy that he's here, man. I'm so happy that he's here. Riley Greene is a Detroit Tiger. Oh, it was so fun just watching him. Even if we lost, I would have been so thrilled just to be able to watch him play in a Detroit Tigers uniform and everything. He's unreal. He's unreal. And apparently he brought all the offense with him. Now, he got clowned on by a lot of people in this fan base just for having like confidence, which is wild to me. I'm not sure what else y'all really expected him to say, but he came up and said, we're going to do a lot of winning. Like, that's all I got to say. We're going to win a lot. And everybody's like, yeah, right. Haha. Like, this team sucks. And he doesn't realize what he got himself into, whatever. What do you want him to say? You want him to come up and be like, yeah, well, I'm here, but we're still going to suck. Like, of course he's going to say we're going to win. And I'll be darned, we're 2-0 with him. So he's taking it to everybody right now. But it's just like I said, it was just different. It felt different. The buzz in the crowd was different. They sold a lot of tickets on Saturday and Sunday for him. It was just everything about the weekend just felt different, and it's awesome. And you know what? This team is still what, 14 games now under 500. Yeah, 26 and 40, 3-7 in our last 10. Split the series with the Texas Rangers, who are a what, 4 or 5 game under 500 team. But here's my thing. I don't, again, as I said in the first segment, I understand that this season is probably unsavable. It would take an historic, epic, all-time run to save this season. But that doesn't mean that a lot of good can still come from the second half ish of this season, the last 100 games of this season. There is still a lot that can be accomplished. And if this team turns it around and we look back at the end of the last game of the season and we go, you know what? If we didn't get off to like the worst 2 month start I've ever seen in my life, this would have been a really different season. If we played like we did in the last 100 games, like we did the first 62 games, then this would have been a lot different a year. And I know we played that game last year and everybody expected a step forward and I expected a step forward. And I already said that I feel embarrassed. Like this team literally has embarrassed me to have had any faith in them at the beginning of the season. But if you go into next season, another offseason under your belt, maybe you bring in some more players. You have Jake Rogers back. I know that, again, I'm not saying Jake Rogers is like an MVP candidate, but you have Jake Rogers back. You have Spencer Turnbull back in the rotation, and you go in. Everybody's now been here a year. All your free agent acquisitions, you're getting your second season of Javi. Hopefully, Erod can come back soon. You'll get your first full, I guess, season of Eduardo Rodriguez, and then you get full season of Riley Greene and Spencer Torkelson together. Another year older, another year to mature for them. All I'm saying is you can go into next season with momentum. You can end this season strong. I mean, think about it. If they fought their way back to 500, I'm not saying that's feasible or that's what they're going to do. But if they played 14 games above 500, I guess since Riley Greene got called up, they won 2 in a row. So if they played 16 games over 500 for the remainder of the season post Greene getting called up, there's no way you can possibly look at me and tell me that that's a disappointment, right? If this team was to fight its way into the mid 70s in wins, 75 to 80 wins, that's not too far. I know some people were really big and like, oh, we're gonna fight for a wild card or whatever, and I expected us to be on the other side of 500, right, or around 500, but I still think that that's a successful season. So I just don't think all is lost. I think this narrative that like, oh, nothing matters. Like the rest of the season, nothing can possibly matter. Everything is out the window. And no matter what they do from here on out, just nothing matters at all. And it's just a lost season and it sucks and everything's terrible. I think that's ridiculous. And I don't think that's ever true with any season in any sport. I think you can still accomplish a lot and really set a tone going into this offseason and going into next season because you're not losing anybody. There's no big UFAs. I guess like Jamer is like kind of close, right? Like that's like your biggest thing. Like Jamer, post arbitration Jamer coming up would be the biggest thing. That's like it. So I'm not saying that this season is saved, quote unquote, just because Riley Greene is here. I'm not saying that this team's going to make a playoff push or even be extremely competitive for the remainder of the season, but I don't think that all is lost and we should just not care and we should just stomp our feet and just be miserable the rest of the year either. I think there is recoverable stuff and I still think there's a lot of problems that need to be addressed. And I still think the front office needs to look in a mirror. And I think there's a lot of stuff in the front office and up there that could be changed and probably should be changed for the better. But I just think that there's still more than half of the season left. Over half of this season is still left to be played. Over 50%. I I just still feel like there's a lot there for the rest of this year. And everything I've said previously is still true too. Still am unbelievably embarrassed that I picked this team to be competitive and to be a quote unquote somewhat of a competitor in this division, in this wild card race, whatever going into the season. Still embarrassed that I picked them to go over 500. Still, the Yankees series will still forever be ingrained in my brain whenever we beat anybody or go on a win streak of any amount, because I'm like, hey, when we played the best team in the league, this is what happened. All of that is still true, but that doesn't mean that this is just a lost year. That's all I'm trying to say. Doesn't have to be so black and white, man. Not everything has to be all in, all out. Not everything has to be, oh, like, I can understand. This is really my biggest point. I can understand that the Detroit Tigers are not going to make a push or be competitive this year and still be excited about Riley Greene's presence. There was this narrative going around online that like that wasn't possible. That you either had to be completely just upset with everything and Riley Greene's debut doesn't even matter to you, etc., or you just had to be a total optimist and like, oh, Riley Greene's here, so that means I think the World Series is back on. Not everything's all in, all out like that. Both can be true. I can understand that this season is probably not going to be great in the record total, while still realize that Riley Greene being here has significant importance and a lot of growth can still happen throughout the rest of the season. Because everybody that's saying, oh, it doesn't matter what they do the rest of the year. There's no way. There's no way if this team goes 10, 15 games over 500 the rest of the way that you're going to sit there at 162 with your arms crossed and be like, well, it doesn't matter because in May we sucked. There's no way. There's no way you're going to think that way. I promise you. All right. Let's get into segment 3. We'll actually talk about a little bit of gameplay from this weekend and not just me rambling about how glad I am Riley Greene is here. But first, I got to tell y'all about our friends over at BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. And BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check on all your favorite sport events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn about the trends and the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, everybody. Welcome back to our third and final segment here at Locked On Tigers. So the rest of the offense just absolutely exploded. Exploded. Like I've never seen. The Bradley Beal meme, I ain't never, ever seen you act this way before. That's what it felt like. Goodness gracious. Exploded. We're averaging over 10 runs a game in the Riley Greene era across 2 games. But I'm going to milk every bit of that because the offense was so bad before. They explode for 14 runs in Riley Greene's debut. He reaches base 4 times in his first major league game. He goes 2 for 3 with 2 singles and 2 walks. Spencer Torkelson also goes 2 for 5 in this one, including a just absolutely crushed double. That was a home run in about half of Major League Parks. I think just under, I think it was 14 of 30. Willie Castro got a triple. Cody Clemens extra base hit. Eric Haas had the game of his life. And I'll tell you what, about 2 weeks ago, we talked on this show and I said that Eric Haas, I thought was getting close to not being on the Major League roster because he had been struggling so mightily this year, even kind of, it seemed like more so than everybody else. The last week, dude has turned it on. And that's awesome to see because we know how valuable Eric Haas can be at the plate when he's feeling it with the stick. And I really liked the decision then on Sunday to make him a DH. We played Barnhart and Haase, right? I love that decision because he was in fuego. on Saturday. 3 for 5 with a double and a homer. 3 RBIs. That homer was roped, by the way. What an absolute missile. So it was all it was great. And like I said, the rest of the entire Robbie Grossman hit a homer. He's hit 2. He hit 2 this weekend. He had 0 all season. Robbie Grossman went into Saturday's game with 0 home runs on the year. Hit 2 in 2 games. And was hitting the ball really well. Went 3 for 4 on Saturday. Javi had a homer, and he had a couple of really good at bats this weekend as well. It's very, very. It look. I don't want to get my hopes up because I don't want to be hurt again. That sounded really dramatic, but I don't want to be the guy that keeps going, oh, like maybe they're turning a corner, and then we get shut out for the next week, and I go, oh, just kidding. And that might be what's happening, right? This might just be a random blow up, and for the next week, this team goes right back to how it was. And Riley Greene is whatever, an average hitter, which is still like Barry Bonds compared to the rest of this team right now. But you know what I mean? Like we could totally be in that situation. We're in 2 weeks from now, we look back and go, well, that was a fun 2 games when Riley first came up, but that's it. We're right back to how we were. All the same problems are still here. And that's totally fair. And that could 100% happen. Now, at the end of the season, that would cause this season would have ended up being just absolutely worst case scenario. But we're gonna focus on the present and stay positive, right? And right now we're 2-0 and averaging over 10 runs a game since calling him up. So 14-7 final on Saturday. Some bullpen iffiness there late. And then on Sunday, we win 7-3. The big thing, Riley Greene goes 0 for 2, but has 2 walks. He walked 4 times in his first 2 games. Everybody who knows me knows that made me cry. That made me cry tears of joy. An OBP king. His on-base percentage through 2 games, 667. So got on base 2 of every 3 plate appearances so far in his major league career. Still looking for the first extra base hit, but the at-bats looked really good. Even the strikeout looked really good. He just seems to be like Torkelson. The big thing with him so far has been he's too patient. He's too passive. He just and not this weekend, right? He went 2 for 4 on Sunday as well after going 2 for 5 on Saturday. So that's been nice. And maybe, he just missed his best friend and now they're in the majors together and now he's going to start hitting. Awesome. Please have that be the case. But the thing with Riley is he's just like the perfect amount of aggressive, or at least I should really word this better. He was this past weekend, the perfect amount of aggressive, right? He was spitting on everything, walked 4 times. He was spitting on everything out of the zone, wasn't chasing too terribly much, but if a ball was in the zone, he was taking hacks at it. If fastballs were even around the zone, he was taking hacks at it and still had 4 walks. That is beautiful. That is the ideal at bat. That is what we want out of Torkelson too. So hopefully that'll rub off a little bit. Javi appeared to be seeing the ball a lot better. Got a walk and another hit on Sunday as well. Man, it's just like if this offense can just get going. We're still waiting on an update on Harold, by the way. At the time of this recording, I don't have one for you. If the offense can just get going, we've been saying that all season. That's just all we need is this offense to just remember how to hit extra base hits consistently. And looking ahead now, we have Boston, 3-game set. Went on a really hot tear there after a really slow start to their season. We've played them before this year, had some interesting games to say the least against them. So we have 3 against Boston, then 3 against Arizona, 2 against San Francisco. And then in July, we have all AL Central leading up to the All-Star break. The All-Star break starts July 18th. And we literally the entire month of July leading up to it, 3 in Kansas City, 4 against Cleveland, 4 against Chicago, 4 against Kansas City, 4 against Cleveland. The first 17 days, we even have a doubleheader somewhere in there, of July, we only play AL Central opponents. Wake the offense up, go in, finish out June strong, and go in and tear through your AL Central opponents. Tear through them. Get the offense rolling again. And again, I'm done trying to predict. I'm done with it. I'm not going to be. I just realized I'm still wearing my Father's Day like dinner attire. Thus the polo. What if I pop the collar for the rest of the show? Boom. That kind of looks weird. There we go. Bang. I'm tired of being look, they're starting to turn a corner. Or, oh, look what could be happening. Everybody and their mother at this point has tried that way too many times, and nobody's been right. And they've just been really bad throughout all of it. Right? I'm just saying. The season is not lost. Riley Greene here is a big deal, and you should be happy about it. There's a difference between the season being lost and not thinking that we're going to make the playoffs. Two different things. You can understand all of it. I promise it's possible. I promise. All right. Okay. That'll do it. I think that's all I got for you. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Make sure your second listen is the Ultimate NBA Mock Draft. The first picks of the Ultimate NBA Mock Draft have been made, so search now for the Ultimate NBA Mock Draft. Get over 50 insiders, the Odyssey sports experts, the draft expert of the Locked On NBA Big Board. The 5-episode Ultimate NBA Mock Draft is underway, so make it your second listen today. Kind of forgot what I was saying there for a second. Okay. Riley Greene's here. The offense was kind of nice. What is going on with this collar, man? All right, we need to end the show. This is ridiculous. I look like I'm belong in the Jetsons. Just have fun with it. Have fun with it. Get hot. Play better than 500 ball the rest of the year. Get some momentum going into the next season. I know that this was supposed to be the competitive year. I totally understand, and I'm upset too. I don't want this to come across as, oh, Riley Greene's up, so all is forgiven. That's certainly not what I'm saying. Everyone still has every right to be upset. You have every right to still be mad at this team and be mad at this season and be mad at the front office. Whatever you're angry about, totally justified. All I'm saying is we can still get some good out of it. All right? So let's have fun. The post-Riley Greene call-up era is upon us. Let's go win some dang ball games. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. I'll catch you tomorrow, baby. Go Tigers.